Hello everyone, this is part 17 of What If Naruto Traveled Back in Time and Changed, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Senju compound, 1 week later. After I was diagnosed with MPD, I phoned my boss to tell him that I needed some time off. After receiving deadpan looks from everyone in the living room, she continued, "You're self-employed, you stupid bastard," I said. Crickets, the whole mindscape went deafeningly silent. Ria sat there with an expectant look as everyone in the mindscape looked at her with blank, deadpan looks. "Holy shit guys, we need to get out of here," Naruto said in a deadpan voice with a hint of horror mixed in. Oh, I got one," Kurama said with a shit-eating grin. "You know what the worst thing about MPD is?" Kurama looks around like a kid with the funniest answer in the world only to get blank looks in return. "I used to enjoy masturbating, but I can't get into it lately because I am really not into orgies. Let me out," Yami screamed in terror. "Ruto tried letting us out yesterday. Mama bopped me on the head and sent me right back in here." Hikari whined. "Yes, Mama made it clear you are not to use your chakra until she says so." Yosuke added remorsefully. "I miss Anko, I haven't been laid in almost 2 weeks." Rias whined. "I have never been laid." Yami added after calming down, "What's all the hype about?" Yami had come out of his shell a bit. He still seemed like a darker and more brutal Sasuke, before he turned into a backstabbing, world-ending bastard, of course. Rias looked at Yami. "Weren't you a part of Naruto last go-around?" "He showed me Temari, Ino." Rias got a perverted giggle on her face and blood trickled. "And Hinata, oh, sweet, sweet Hinata. I still can't believe you let that one go. Definition of lady in the street and a freak in the bed." Yami looked to Naruto curiously. "Why don't I remember that?" Naruto shrugged. "Best guess we have is that you are a part of me, but you only pulled out the memories that reinforced your core personality. The happiest I have been when I was with each of them before they died. You want the memories. It might make you think life is actually worth living." Yami nodded hesitantly. It's not like it can make life anything worse." Naruto walked over to him and placed his hand on Yami's black spiky hair and concentrated on sharing some of the good memories. He kept his hand there for at least 10 minutes as Naruto processed the memories, flashing at 10 times normal speed through his own mind. As Yami watched, a tear began trickling out of his eyes. It didn't take long for one tear to turn to a steady trickle as Yami experienced the positive side of life for the first time. Naruto left the mindscape, trusting his alters to help Yami process things and decide what to do. He sighed as he rose out of his bed, missing the blonde beauties that he had woken up to for the past week. Evidently, he had slept in, and they were already out and about. The Subaku siblings were adamant on staying with Naruto until they figured out what the stupid council was going to do. Naruto tried to shove the negative feelings out of his mind by smothering his face in Temari's pillow and inhaling deeply. She had such a soft, sweet scent that just tickled the back of his nose and filled him with fond memories. After a minute, Naruto kicked himself up out of bed, completely at a loss for what to do. He was more than tired of listening to his mama, he just wanted to use his chakra again. It no longer felt like his tenketsu were burning and his body was no longer sore. He could feel his power returning and knew that he already had more than anyone else in his generation. He had tried to get a CrossFit workout going only to be slammed into the ground by the slug Sannin, which was another source of frustration. Naruto's daily routine was shattered, and he couldn't do anything that he typically loved to do. Combine that with a form of house arrest and Naruto was more than ready to flash to Wave and Seikanoa. Later on, as he was thinking, Tsunade walked into the living room with Temari and Naruto could tell something had her hot and bothered. Temari shifted into her cuddle spot with Naruto as he looked up to see the scowl affixed to Tsunade's face. "Alright mama, spill it. What's got you in such a mood?" Naruto asked softly, trying to keep it casual. Tsunade reached into her pocket and tossed a black book at Naruto. He caught it and immediately knew he was looking at the newest copy of the bingo book. "Page 1, Tsunade grunted. Before Naruto even opened the book, he commented, "Oh, wow, page 1. My first entry." As Naruto read with Temari looking over his shoulder, Tsunade replied, "Look bud, you killed a lot of people, and you did it in a spectacular fashion. You need to be careful." Naruto flipped the book open to its first page and began reading. Naruto Uzumaki Senju. Rank, S. Rank. Age, 13. Family, parents, Minato Namikaze, deceased. Kushina Uzumaki, deceased. Known relatives, Tsunade Senju, Sanan, Konoha. Shizune Senju, adopted sister. Yosuke Senju, adopted brother. Rias Senju, adopted sister. Hikari Senju, adopted sister. Les. Sage. Unknown summons. Heir to Daimyo of Whirlpool Country, Lord Protectorate of Wave Country, honorary citizen of Sunagakure. Bio. Naruto Senju is the Jinchuriki of Kyubi no Kitsune and is a genin of Konohagakure. He grew up outside of the village, spent most of his youth in Suna and Wave and returned to Konoha at age 12. He is on Genin Team 8 under Itachi Uchiha, the 5th Hokage of Konoha. He is a seal master that is credited with many new seals sold at the Senju Shinobi equipment stores and their affiliates. Achievements: killed Onoki of both scales, 3rd Tsuchikage of Awagakure during invasion of Konoha. Killed Han, Jinchuriki of 5 tails, during invasion of Konoha. Killed over 1,000 shinobi during invasion of Konoha. Abilities: Ninjutsu, Mokuton, S rank, Suten, A rank, Doton, A rank, Futon, A rank, high-level mastery of shadow and wood clones. Used jutsu credited to 1st Hokage. Witnessed using chakra chains of the Uzumaki clan. Taijutsu, A rank, styles unknown. Kenjutsu, S rank, demonstrated high-level mastery during invasion of Konoha. Genjutsu, unknown. Fuinjutsu, master class. Unknown combat abilities. Bounty, $5 million Otogakure dead or alive, $10 million Awagakure alive. Naruto whistled after he read the bounties, then he looked up in a deadly serious manner at Tsunade. That is pretty thorough. I am fairly certain I didn't show all that during the exams or invasion. Tsunade nodded with a frown on her face. Yeah bud, I was thinking the same thing. They also brought our family into it. Naruto frowned as Tsunade's words registered with him. In that deluge of information, he forgot the implications for those he cares about most. Yeah, Suna can take care of itself and Gaara and Temari are coming with us on the training trip. My friends should be safe here. That just leaves Wave, and I am not going to lie, that worries me a lot. Tsunade's frown turned into a growl. I was thinking the same thing. Any chance you can upgrade the barrier seals around Wave? It's not that easy, Mama. The bigger the barrier, the bigger power source is required. I can work Senjutsu into it, but it still won't hold up against S rank opponents. I would need to add new barriers around civilian centers, beef up the screening at the ports, install a better chakra storage seal, I mean the list goes on. Temari put a comforting hand on his shoulder. Look, Ruto, don't try to do everything at once. We will be in Wave a couple times throughout our trip, and you have the Horatian beacons now. They can survive until you arrive. She's right bud. We will figure it out. Just stay positive. Honestly Mama, I am so close to leaving Konoha and just not looking back. I would rather go to Wave and stay there to protect it. With that last thought, Tsunade walked to the kitchen to get some sake to help her deal with her rapidly growing headache before she went to yet another council meeting. The main thing that prevented him from up and leaving Konoha for good was Ino. She couldn't leave the village without being declared a missing nin, and Kinji said that she would need to be his wife for Naruto's immunity to reply to her. Then there were his friends, who were absolutely amazing this time around. The monotony of the week had been regularly punctuated with his friends stopping by and informing him of what was going on in the village. He learned a couple things from them. 1. The civilians were terrified and gossiping about him. No surprise there, Naruto was actually nervous about regaining his chakra and senses and going out into the village. Memories of the past threatened to haunt him if the villagers looked at him with those hate-filled gazes again. 2. The damage to the village wasn't that bad, but all genin were on cleanup duty until further notice. At least he was able to prevent the worst of the damage this time around. 3. Hinata and Shino were promoted to Chunin for the displays in the finals and efforts in the invasion. This made Naruto wonder if the council was actually going to deny him a promotion this time around as well. Ungrateful bastards. 4. Sasuke Uchiha was gone. This made Naruto punch a hole in his wall. Despite his best efforts, the team still ended up leaving the village. He was presumed captured, so he wasn't declared a missing nin, but Naruto knew how things would play out. 5. Lord Third was still in the hospital despite Tsunade being there to heal him almost immediately. The poison from the Kusanagi ate away at his chakra network and did serious damage to the old monkey. Naruto realized he wasn't as nearly broken up about it as he was last time around. Naruto was grateful to each one of his friends, and it was for them that he would try to persevere and not abandon Konoha. He has talked about it at length with Tsunade and Shizune, who were both of the mind to leave the village and return to Wave or sooner. Shizune was excited about the idea of going to live with York. Tsunade was excited about wandering the lands again while gambling and training. Evidently, it was a very long week for Tsunade, who was taken out of her hospital duties 3 times in 1 week for stupid, kami damned council meetings. Naruto shared more than a few bottles of sake with her on the porch at night as she filled him in. Evidently, during the last council meeting, the civilians had gotten uppity once again, declaring that it wasn't safe for Naruto to be in the village. They said that the Kyuubi had broken the seal and taken over Naruto, which had prompted another outburst from Tsunade. She had come home ranting and raving about how Koharu and Homura were stoking the fears of the civilians. All in all, Naruto thought that it was time for a training trip. He just didn't know what he should do about Ino and Anko, since Rias wouldn't be able to remain in Konoha if he were out of the village for that long. Then there was Hikari, who had set up roots as the Senju shopkeeper and made friends of her own. Perhaps it was because of Hikari being Naruto's pure side, but he could never deny her anything. Actually, none of the alters nor Kurama could deny her anything. The vibrant blonde was too nice for her own good, and she always put the needs of others before herself, which prompted the others to always consider her needs over the other alters. She was the dear little sister that each of them felt the need to protect and spoil. For the millionth time that week, Naruto sat in the garden and used meditation to reflect upon things and collect his thoughts. All in all, after many internal and external debates, the consensus was split. It was agreed upon that we should remain tied to Konoha because of the friends and relationships that were established. That being said, most agreed that a training trip and break from Konoha would be a good thing for all parties, especially Konoha. Temari and Gaara declared that they would join the training trip, which would make it more fun this time around. Ino brought the training trip idea up with her parents and they shot her down almost immediately. That was a cause for concern, but Ino had told me that she would support me no matter what. All in all, I think that I should give in to the timeline's demand to leave Konoha, and I can use it as an opportunity to get ahead of the Akatsuki. Yeah, that will have to do for now. Elsewhere, Tsunade was having a bad day and she was just praying it didn't get any worse. She thought back over the conversation she just had in Hiruzen's medical room with Itachi, Jiraiya, Shikaku and Hiruzen. Why have you called me here, Lord Hokage? Tsunade said calmly with her arms crossed under her bust. It annoyed her to no end that she could feel Jiraiya's eyes on her. Itachi looked at Hiruzen and then met Tsunade's gaze. Well, quite frankly, I asked you to meet here because I feared you would destroy the council chambers along with the Hokage Tower if we talked in there. This earned a HMPH from Tsunade. Calm down, Haim, it is not all bad. Jiraiya said while his eyes fought a losing battle against the pull of gravity. My eyes are up here, Jiraiya. So help me, if you do not correct your behavior I will remove your sight to help an old teammate resist temptation. Tsunade growled, which made Jiraiya shudder and avert his gaze. Calm down, Tsunade. Those threats are not needed. Hiruzen said wearily, which earned a glare from the slug Sannin. We are getting distracted. Tsunade, the reason I called you here is because the civilian council and the civilians will continue to make matters worse if Naruto stays here. The civilians are terrified from feeling the Kyuubi's chakra again, and the civilian council is doing little to assuage those worries. My major concern is that if we continue on this path then we will lose you and Naruto for good. Itachi stated calmly. Tsunade scoffed, oh, this is rich. Well, we are ready to leave. Tell us when we have to go. Jiraiya stepped forward. No, Haim, you cannot go. We need you here to run the hospital. I will take Naruto on a training trip and give him a much-needed break from the village. This will let me get in touch with my spy network. Jiraiya's thoughts were disrupted by exaggerated laughter from Tsunade. He paused and aired an eyebrow at her. Tsunade, please, hear us out. Hiruzen pleaded. Tsunade's laughter halted abruptly. No, no, no. You three listen and hear me out. Naruto will not go on this trip with Jiraiya. He would sooner use the Hiraishin and go off on his own. In her heart, she knew this wasn't fair, but she had her memories of how Konoha treated her grandson in the last go-round, and she had been resonating with those memories for the whole week as she was forced to tolerate the village's whispers. Jiraiya looked downcast and he spoke softly. Why? Why does the kid hate me so much? He has his reasons, Jiraiya. For starters, after ignoring him for most of his life, you then betrayed his trust and spilled the first major secret he shared with you. Tsunade said back, her tone lacking the scorn and venom it had been carrying. Well, Tsunade, I cannot send Naruto out without a representative of the village that would actually be capable of protecting him. There is Iwa and the Akatsuki to worry about. Itachi explained. Am I not a representative of this village? Tsunade turned toward Itachi with her red eyebrow and balled fists. Calm down, Tsunade. It is clear to everyone that you would prioritize Naruto's needs and wishes over Konoha's. You should be grateful to have someone as accomplished as Jiraiya willing to take on, train and protect your son. Hiruzen said. No, Tsunade said in a deadly whisper. If Naruto goes, I go with him. The Senju clan will move out together. If the perverted toad wants to tag along, fine. That is the only concession you will get from me. Hiruzen adopted a look crossed between rage and desperation. Tsunade, we can't afford to have the two remaining Sanins out of the village at the same time. Well then you should have thought about that before you started letting the sheep dictate your actions, oh wise shepherd. Tsunade shot back sarcastically. Itachi sighed and rubbed his temples. He really didn't like being the Hokage. Both of you calm down. Lord Third, you know as well as I do that we can't stop her from leaving. Grow a spine, Itachi. She is a registered shinobi of this village. Hiruzen shouted before clutching his chest in pain. Calm yourself, old man, before you break your chaise. I am now not giving you an option. The Senju family will be leaving Konoha for a training trip. I have the Sanin's travel rights and express permission from Kinji. We will leave in 2 weeks' time once Naruto is completely recovered, so, do with that what you will. Now, I need a drink. Tsunade turned on her heel and shunshined out of the hospital room. Jiraiya said. Itachi, you can't let her go. Jiraiya needs this time with Naruto to instill the will of fire in him. Hiruzen said in a firm tone. No, Lord Third, I disagree with you. If you didn't repeatedly get in his way, then the will of fire would have already taken hold. You are so desperate when it comes to Naruto that you miss the forest for the tree. It is you that have driven him away. It is his friends that will bring him back. Itachi replied equally as firm. That's not fair to Sensei, Itachi. Jiraiya stood up for Hiruzen who had sunk into his hospital bed. And you, Jiraiya, because you constantly feel the need to defend his actions and force your own beliefs on him, he feels like he can't even start forming a relationship with you. You two fools have done nothing except tell him what he needs to do. You have told him of nothing except the duties you think that he must shoulder. Because he has to shoulder them. Jiraiya and Hiruzen shouted simultaneously. Itachi shook his head. If you do not wish to heed my warning, then that is your decision. Just know that it will end with you costing Konoha the Senju clan. Then it is your duty as Hokage to ensure that doesn't happen. Hiruzen shouted. Itachi's face turned dark, and his tone grew menacing as his Sharingan flared to life. Enough. You two are so stuck in your ways that you don't understand the situation we are facing. Naruto, Tsunade and the whole Senju clan have an authority that exceeds our own backing them. Not only that, but Naruto also has the means to defy me in a contest of strength and will. Force is not an option. The sooner you two realize that the better off we will be. Now, I am going to go do paperwork. It is much less stressful than trying to get through to you two. Tsunade's shadow clone popped, and she processed the information on her walk home. She just wanted to be kicked back on the beach next to the Senju villa in Wave Country. Everyone there actually appreciated what her family did for them and didn't act like it was some enliment. Sighing, she prepared herself for the conversation with Naruto and the altars. She ignored the stares and whispered conversations for as long as she could before she gave up and shunshined the rest of the way home. Naruto was waiting for her in the Senju Gardens, and she saw him beckon her over as she passed through the gates. She sat down behind him and pulled him back into her chest and placed her chin on his head. What is it, Ruto? She asked softly. I got a message from May. The rebels won and the war is over. He spoke in a hushed tone. Isn't that good news? Tsunade asked, feeling like she was missing something. When they took over the city, Yagura wasn't there. He was in his office 1 minute and gone the next, according to some of his prior officials. Sound familiar? Naruto asked. Shit, Tsunade whispered, her chin still on top of Naruto's head. So, the Akatsuki has Isabu. Most likely. They may even have Yagura still alive since he was under their control anyways. Well, this isn't the first deviation in the timeline. Well, I have news too. Tsunade wrapped her arms tighter around Naruto. We will be taking that training trip. I told Hiruzen, Itachi and Jiraiya that it is no longer an option. Naruto lifted himself out of Tsunade's embrace and turned around and faced her. His azure orbs glistened with a soft blue as she peered into the depths of his soul. She waited as she could tell he was talking internally. We were ready for it. How long do we have to say goodbye to our friends? 2 weeks. I'm sorry that it came to this, kiddo. It's fine, mama. I went into sage mode today, he trailed off with that. Tsunade was torn between being concerned and being angry, she settled with being both. And, she asked in a soft, yet firm, tone. I felt their fear. I knew from the moment I woke up what was going to happen. The only real question is, will we be coming back here? Kurama and I also felt something that I will need to go check out. He answered. I think we should come back, kiddo. After a couple years they will grow out of their fear. Especially when they hear all of the good things you are going to do for this world. Tsunade soothed him in a soft voice. What else did you feel though? Kokuo. Naruto choked out, it was never my intention to kill Han, but I snapped. If it weren't for Granny Chio, I don't know if I would have made it back to myself. I know you would have. You are so much stronger than I have any right to ask you to be, kiddo. Don't forget who you are fighting for. Don't forget what makes this all worth it. Tsunade leaned in and put her forehead against Naruto's. Naruto finished the embrace and rested his head in the nook of Tsunade's neck. I won't. And if I do, then you will be there to smack me upside the head. Damn straight, brat. So, where you wanna go? Tsunade asked. Well, I promised Uncle Kinji I would come out and spend some time with him and Kaori in the capital. Temari won't like that, but she will be there with us, so it will be okay. Wait, say that again. Temari. She's coming with us? Tsunade asked. Naruto nodded into her shoulder. Yup, I bribed Papa Raza with some cool seals I developed and promised that we would be available to take missions. Her and Gaara are free to tag along. Kankuro wants to use that time to master his puppetry. He took Granny Chio's loss the hardest and he wants to honor her. Plus, safety in numbers, right? Tsunade chuckled and shook her head before placing AK on top of Naruto's head. Leave it to you, brat. You never cease to amaze me. Yeah, well, the way I see it, Gaara has to be ready to deal with Iwa and the Akatsuki. After the damage I dealt them, they will take a while to recover, but it also means that war is imminent. So, I am going to have Gaara and Temari train with us. If you could leave some scrolls for Ino and Hinata, I would appreciate it. Sure thing, kiddo. Where else are we going to go? Tsunade asked. We should go out to Kiri in a couple months once things have settled down. I am thinking that we really need to locate Utakata and Saiken before the Akatsuki does. Then I need to stop by Taki and help Fu. I would like to spend some time in Suna and Wave. Maybe our friends could come visit us in Wave. I will pay for a mission to get them all out there. Then, I want to spend some time in Kumo, maybe head out to Turtle Island again. I never got to visit the Sage's Temple last time around and Kurama says that I should go there. I also want to pop by Am and send some wood clones in to try and make contact with Nagato and Conan as well. That's quite the itinerary. I am not too sure about going into Am though. Tsunade said cautiously. Yeah, well, all we need to do is get to Am's border. The messengers we have sent have been refused or killed, so I don't even know if he has gotten my messages. Naruto replied in an unsure tone. Then why don't we reach out to Hisashi? Tsunade asked. We will have to run into him. I haven't gotten the chance to give him a communication scroll and I don't know where he is or which Biju he is assigned to. Frustration leaked into Naruto's tone. And I really want to give him a way to contact Neji. That change in the timeline really feels like it was my fault. You can't keep the whole world on your shoulders, kiddo. It doesn't work that way. Now, enough serious talk. Let me run a scan on you and we will see how your body reacts to using chakra again. Then, you should use your remaining time and spend it with your friends. Thanks, Mama. Does that mean I am no longer under house arrest? He asked eagerly. Yeah, be careful out there though. Don't let the ungrateful bastards win. Tsunade finished with a resigned caution. Inside Naruto's mind, everyone was rejoicing at the thought of getting out of their containment. It was truly a long week and a half stuck inside the seal for the alters that had grown used to living their own lives. Rias wanted to go see Anko, Hikari was being hush-hush about who she wanted to see, Yosuke simply wanted the opportunity to train some more and stretch his legs. Naruto had been writing to Himawari on his behalf, but Yosuke said it wasn't the same when he had to talk to her with everyone else watching. Nobody argued that point. Kurama wanted to get out and share a drink with Tsunade. Nobody knew it yet, not even Naruto, but Kurama had started to develop something real for Tsunade and it wasn't as one-sided as one might expect. Finally, Yami wanted the chance to experience life outside of the seal. He would be contained to the compound because he would probably lose himself to the negative feelings of the villagers. Nobody wanted that, but they did want him to get a chance at living his own life. He had promised to behave himself and he seemed excited when Naruto said that he would summon some people from Tenshinra over. He requested Shuna, which Naruto thought was funny. Free at last. That night, Naruto had sent out shadow clones to his friends to let them know that CrossFit would be starting again tomorrow and that he had something to tell them. He also let everyone out of the seal after Tsunade cleared it with him. Naruto could feel a greater strain than normal, but it wasn't anything he couldn't handle. It was nice to get some actual alone time with Temari and Ino. That night after dinner, Temari and Ino surprised him by dragging him into the private onsen at the Senju guest house. He told them about everything that had happened and what the plans were moving forward. Temari was happy about it, but Ino was close to breaking. They each embraced her in a hug and told her that they would stay in touch. Naruto promised to set up a long-range Hiraishin beacon in her room and he would stop by and visit at least once a week. That cheered Ino up and she reverted back into her perky self. The next morning, the whole crew was present for CrossFit and after a grueling workout Naruto told everyone what was going on. There were a lot of people that were unhappy about the situation, and it led to some pretty colorful conversation. Shikamaru was the first to speak after hearing Naruto out and his tone was lacking the usual laziness in it. Naruto, I know it is troublesome to say this, but this is bullshit. I admit, it was more than unsettling when I felt the Kyuubi's aura, but that wasn't your fault. It's all too damn troublesome. Ino and Chuji put comforting hands on Shika's shoulders. It is most unyouthful. You saved the village with your flames of youth, and this is how the unyouthful villagers thank you. I never thought that I would see Konoha's flames flicker down to mere embers. Guy shouted as Lee nodded along with him. Naruto, you have done too much for me to remain silent on this issue. What can the Hyuga clan do to make this right? Neji asked in a firm, no bullshit tone. Yes, Ruto, what can brother and I do to make this right? The whole Hyuga clan will rally to support you. Hinata chimed in with a slightly desperate tone. Naruto held up his hands at this point to get the group's attention. Guys, I thank you for your support. All of the negativity isn't coming from the shinobi clans. It is almost entirely the civilian population and a couple of the shinobi traumatized by the Kyuubi attack. I can't stay here when there is this much hate, fear and negativity. It will do nothing except make matters worse because my abilities make me feel all of it. It's illogical. Even when you lost control, you never attacked an ally. Shino said while his hive was buzzing agitatedly, and this will delay our experiments as well. Don't worry. Before I go, I am going to give each of you a gift. I am also planning on having you guys come out to Wave for a mission, at least once a year. If you need to get in touch with me, Ino will have a communication scroll to me and Hinata will have one to Gaara. This comment earned some raised eyebrows and curious looks from the group. Hinata was really missing her old big hoodie that she used to be able to hide in. Her blush was surpassing tomato levels, and her chin was tucked into her chest. Naruto. Brother, I would appreciate it if you didn't go out of your way to embarrass Hinata. Gaara said in his usual monotone while sand was leaking out of the seal on his wrist. Teehee, Naruto said before jumping up and taunting Gaara. Everyone watched the two brothers dodge around the training grounds in a display of sibling rivalry. Temari, Ino and Hinata had wistful smiles on their faces as they watched Naruto duck in and out of Gaara's sand. Eventually, Naruto was caught around the ankle and suspended in the air by Gaara, who was standing there staring at him with his arms crossed. That was when the real Naruto tapped him on the shoulder before disappearing back underground. Gaara grunted and made a lifting motion with his palms open, and sand began rising out of the ground in crazy volumes. One cloud of sand was carrying Naruto, who then disappeared in a yellow flash. The game continued for more than a couple minutes before Gaara grew tired of trying to catch the slippery bastard. Oh, please Gaara, I could outrun squads of Anbu when I was 5. Naruto said while trying to catch his breath. I thought we agreed the flying thunder god was cheating. Gaara said in a pouty tone that earned laughs from all of those watching the youthful display. Naruto shrugged, Meh, all is fair between brothers. Anyway guys, I have one request I want to make of each of you. Everyone straightened up and got back into serious mode. I am putting Guy in charge of CrossFit. I want everyone to continue training and getting stronger, but not just physically. We are likely going to be in an active war within the next 3 to 4 years once Iwa recovers from their losses. Trust Guy, Asuma and all of the other veterans. Don't waste a single day that you aren't out on missions. Push yourselves and be ready for what's to come. I will be creating seals, weapons and other devices to help you and your clans. I will send them along when I can. If you need to give something to Ruto, come to me. Ino said proudly. Why you, Ino? 1010 asked. Can you guys promise to keep a secret? Even from the council? Naruto asked and saw everyone get nervous and fidget a bit. Never mind then, just know that if you need to reach me go through Ino. Asuma, Guy and Kurenai, if an emergency comes up know that I can be here in a flash. I will be giving each squad enhanced Haration beacons. These tags are bigger so that I can sense them from further away. If you are in dire straits, you call me. Understand? Naruto said in a deadly serious tone. Don't worry about us, Naruto. You just go out there and get stronger. We will keep them safe until you return. Asuma said in an admittedly manly tone. Alright, well that is all until this evening. I will make time for each of you. Tonight, go home and ask your clans to place their seal orders. I will work to make as many as I can before I go. Tell your parents that there will be a 30% discount on orders placed in the next 3 days. Naruto said. This earned excitement from each member of the CrossFit group. Naruto, Hiashi wishes for you to apply weight and resistance seals to each member of the Hyuga. The increase in strength, speed and agility is invaluable to the Juken and I know he will approve this. Neji said, standing up in excitement. Very well, just remind me how many members that is again. Naruto said wearily. 86 active members. Hinata informed him, which earned a whistle from Asuma and a, very troublesome, from Shikamaru. My father will place an order as well. The temperature and humidity maintenance seals are crucial to our hives. Shino said. The Yamanaka women want 100 orders of brass and panties. Assorted colors will be fine. Ino chirped. Chuji paused mid-bite on a stick of jerky. Naruto, what do you do with B and P? Naruto sniggered. Well, Chuji, why don't you ask your mother? Tell her that I will apply the discount to our women's clothing lines. Ruto, I want 200 high explosive tags. 1010 said eagerly while Lee and Guy were shaking their heads so hard in the negative that their hair created black blurs. Oh, and what are we going to do about crafting and etching on equipment? Naruto thought about it for a bit. 1010, my gift to you will be the Uzumaki Fuinjutsu books levels 1 through 6. Level 6 will instruct you on how to craft and etch seals into your equipment. Naruto was instantly tackled in an excited hug from 1010 who began placing K all over his faces. Once Temari and Ino's shock wore off, they ripped her off of their man and pinned her down with fierce glares and ki. Naruto, Does this mean you will not be able to perform my operation? Lee asked with a disheartened tone. Nope. Mama and I will be scheduling your operation for next week. Naruto said with a massive smile on his face. Now, no more spoiling my gifts. As I said, I will make time for each of you. Now, scram and go to missions or train. Hokage's office, 3 hours later. Naruto hopped in through the Hokage's office window to see Itachi and a couple shadow clones hard at work. Itachi set down his stamp and pen and dismissed the shadow clones before smiling at Naruto. Hey, Ruto, it is good to see you up and about again. What brings you to my office today? Itachi said in a friendly tone. Well, Sensei, I didn't see you at CrossFit this morning. I am sure Tsunade told you, or maybe not, but we will be leaving in 2 weeks. My professional reason for coming is to notify you of this and to take last-minute sealing requests. Naruto said in a neutral tone. Itachi nodded and locked eyes with Naruto. And what is your personal reason for coming? Naruto reclined in the windowsill and met Itachi's gaze. I am sorry for your losses. I heard your father died during the invasion and I heard about your brother. How are you holding up? Itachi broke eye contact and sighed deeply. Honestly, Ruto, it has been a lot to handle. My mother is struggling, and the only thing keeping her sane is her commitment to the clan. Thank you for your sentiment, but if you want to make sure I am okay, then it would be best for you not to create so much paperwork. Naruto aired an eyebrow. And how, pray tell, am I creating paperwork when I have been unconscious or locked in the Senju compound since the invasion? Itachi glanced at the stacks of paper. Well, that stack there is all about you. The damned civilian council won't shut up about it. Want me to ask Uncle Kin to have them all executed? It would make your life a lot quieter. Naruto asked sarcastically. Itachi chuckled and the Anbu in the room could be heard snickering. No, that will not be necessary. What are your plans for your training trip? The fewer people that know that the better. I will leave a long-range Hiraishin beacon and a communication scroll. I ask that you not abuse my trust like Jiraiya and Hiruzen. Naruto responded seriously. I understand. I thank you for choosing to trust me. On the subject of Jiraiya, I will need you to take him with you. Naruto glared at Itachi. For what reason? I will have Tsunade there and she is stronger than him at this point. Itachi answered Naruto's glare with one of his own. Because I said so. It is my compromise for this trip. Take it or leave it. You know I could leave it and still leave, right? Naruto shot back. Don't be a brat. Do it for your sensei. Itachi countered. Oh, you were playing the sensei card. Kami damn it Itachi. Naruto's serious tone broke and he sounded more like the child he was. Yes, look Naruto, as much as the civilians are scared of you, the shinobi side wants you to remain in Konoha. Everyone knows that Tsunade would be more than happy to never return to Konoha. This is the council's way of keeping you safe. Not even you believe that Itachi. This is the council's way of keeping tabs on me. Naruto deadpanned only to meet Itachi's impassive stare. Fine, the old toad can come along. He is not setting the itinerary and I retain the right to leave him in any bar or brothel he passes out in. Fair. Anything else, Lord Hokage? Naruto snapped back into professional mode. Not for now. I will stop by before you go. Oh, don't kill any of the civilians before you leave. Itachi ended with a smirk that said, I am going to miss you, brat. Sure thing, sensei. Naruto flourished with a bow and a wink at one of the few people he respected in the village. Later that night, Konoha Stadium. Naruto stopped by the compound and joined Tsunade, Kurama and Shizune for some drinks. It was a common occurrence in the Senju family. Bonding over drinks is probably one of humanity's most treasured and ancient pastimes and the Senjus took that to heart. After catching up, Naruto pulled Kurama back into the seal. They had something to check out. Jumping over the roofs of nighttime Konoha, Naruto took in the cool glow of Konoha's street lamps. The calm buzzing sound of Konoha's bars humming from the distant night skies filled his ears. The blushed smiles of couples and the loud, exaggerated expressions of the inebriated males chasing tails. If this was how Konoha was all the time, Naruto could have stayed. He could have found a true home in the village his parents, and his previous self, sacrificed themselves for. He casually chatted with Kurama as he approached the stadium and the bustle of the village died with the distant night. With a little chakra, Naruto jumped up into the night sky with a great leap and landed on the roof of the arena. The repairs were in progress, and yet the damage from the cage's battle left scars on the once pristine arena. It's a shame, he could have repaired it himself in a couple hours if only they asked him to. Shaking of the thoughts of distraction, Naruto sat into a meditative posture and Kurama mirrored the action within the seal. Within a minute, the familiar and empowering feeling of senjutsu chakra filled his coils and ignited his senses. As he spread his aura out and communed with the forest, he took in the whole of Konoha. The strange peace and contentedness of the night calmed his anticipation of events, and he gradually filtered out the familiar feeling of Konoha and its forests. What remained was a familiar, yet foreign, feeling. Pain, frustration, pain, anger, pain, hopelessness. These feelings poured into Naruto due to their close proximity. They overwhelmed Naruto's mind and threatened to drive him to madness and despair. Kurama's voice broke through the madness in his mind, clearly shouting to be heard over the raging storm of emotions. "Kit, that's my brother. He is here," Kurama yelled with passion filling his baritone voice. A sudden calm, an understanding of what was happening, a desire to help, a desire to save, a desire to protect family and resolve the negative feelings. A deep urge to console the rampaging nature chakra that was unbound by sentience, yet still loosely tethered to it. Naruto closed his eyes just a bit tighter as he focused on absorbing the abundant and out-of-control nature chakra. "That's it, Ruto, stay calm. Spread those feelings to Kokuo. He is in there somewhere." Kurama soothed him from inside. While concentrating to help Naruto, Kurama couldn't help the old familiar thoughts of his father's last words to him. "One day, there will come a boy that will come and calm your hatred. He will guide you and your siblings down the right path. You may all be separated, but the boy will unite you in purpose and guide the world toward the path of Ninshu." He smiled at the memory and redoubled his efforts to help his soul-bound partner. Naruto stayed in a meditative state, pulling the natural energy in through him and cycling it back out. After a while, he was able to distinguish between the ambient natural energy and the energy that composed Kokuo. As he cycled Kokuo's energy, he felt a link being established with the Biju. It was like a whisper across an open field at first, but it grew louder the more that he allowed the Biju's core energy to flitter through his coils. "Hey, Q, other than cycle this in and out, how can we help Kokuo?" Naruto thought without breaking his meditative trance. "I don't know, Kit. I have felt his rage and pain abate while you were cycling the remnants of his energy. I honestly don't know what happens when we die, and I do not know the process of reforming." Kurama answered with frustration biting at his tone. "Hey Q, try helping me put Kokuo's chakra into the seal. I have been able to sense him and feel his emotions the longer I meditated. Let's try to bring him in and hold him in the seal," Naruto suggested. "If the natural energy starts overloading, then you can purge it." Kurama sighed and shrugged his massive kitsune shoulders. "Fine, Kit, let's try it." Naruto altered the natural flow of his chakra and started filtering it in reverse through the seal. His chakra control training allowed him to reverse the flow, so he would absorb as much nature energy as he could handle, release the normal energy and then direct the energy that felt like Kokuo into the seal. This was a slow and painstaking process. Little by little, bit by bit, Kokuo started taking form in the mindscape. After 3 hours of chakra filtering, a cat-sized five-tailed Biju in the form of a dolphin horse could be seen looking up at Kurama in the mindscape. "Kurama, what is this?" Kokuo asked in a high-pitched and exhausted voice in between pants. "This is Naruto, he is the one father told us about. He is absorbing your natural energy, essentially the components of your chakra core, and he is guiding them into the seal. Rest, brother, rest for now. We will speak again once you have your energy back," Kurama said in a soft, gruff tone. "Fine, brother, we will talk later." With those words, the dolphin horse laid down and curled up in the mindscape. A pleased smile rested upon Kurama's face, and he decided to check back in with Naruto. The kid needed to stop, his coils were tiring, and his concentration was starting to fail. "Kit, that is enough for today. Your body can't take any more, go home and get some rest. We will come back and repeat this again tomorrow. Kokuo has taken form in the mindscape, that is more than we could have hoped for," Kurama said firmly through the mental link. Outside, Beads of sweat were dotting Naruto's brow, his chakra coils were burning, and he was mentally exhausted. He didn't like leaving things half-finished, but he didn't have much of a choice left. Fine, Q. I got you. Naruto rose to his feet, sage marking still present on his face, and he saw the sun rising over the horizon, bathing Konoha in the light of a new day. He focused on the Hiraishin beacon in his room and flashed to it before passing out on his bed. That was intense, and the ramifications of his actions hadn't caught up with Naruto yet. He was now technically the Jinchuriki of Kurama and Kokuo. How would this change things? That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.